Hey everyone, Am here again, back to do another edition of my unsolved mystery cases that I enjoy talking about ever since the videos of the cases have been taken down. We need people to talk about the cases. And case, another one in particular that always interests me was the Tommy Burkett case. Now, Tommy Burkett was a student at Marymount College, I have notes written down here, who was found dead on Thanksgiving weekend of 1991. Now, the story or the background and everything, I'm going to get into that, summarize it, and get into a little bit of the details, and then give you my opinion. The case, though, still hasn't been solved to this day, obviously. There is belief, though, that Tommy may have been asked to be an undercover narcotics agent for the DEA, and may have discovered evidence about illegal drugs around the campus. That might have been able to implicate students that had been involved with it, and even more than just students, possibly bad cops. And we'll get into that here in a second. He was repeatedly harassed by a couple students. One named Philip Halley, who was the son of a police officer, and Donald McEwen, a grandson of one of the trustees at the college there. The harassment ranged from theft to vicious assaults. Just prior to Tommy Burkett's death, Howie actually beat Burkett so badly that his swollen face was unrecognizable. There was also, now what I remember from seeing the actual case, the segment, there was a part where leading up to his death, he was being chased down. He was being chased, I believe, to his house from another car, and I believe he raced up to his room. An altercation took place, and then it was made it look. They had him sat up, propped to make it look like a suicide. Poorly job at making it look like a suicide, may I add. Kind of reminiscent of the Keith Warren case. I even talked about that, where a situation where the people made it look like he hung himself, and you could tell he did not hang himself with the way the tree was bending. But that's getting back to this case. There was damage to his jaw. I believe also there was blood on or around the banister leading up to the hallway to his room too, that was found. So that makes you wonder, obviously, that there was some sort of physical altercation or something that led up to that point before Tommy got to his room. And there was just so much suspicious activity with law enforcement and the people and the officials at the school not really cooperating with Tommy Burkett's parents, wanting to know his whereabouts, what was going on. Even upon not even seeing the crime scene, I believe one of I believe it was a coroner or a police officer even said, "Oh, it was a suicide," without even looking at it. That's raising red flags right there, obviously. What I think happened, there's a very small chance that there was a suicide, that Tommy was so scared that he just couldn't live with this huge burden on his shoulder, and it just controlled him, and he couldn't continue to live in fear. But the fact, though, that he was harassed and he was beaten up, and then there was a car chase that led to his house, and then there's blood stains that were on or around the banister, and then he had a broken jaw as well. When it was discovered in the autopsy, leads me to believe that this was a murder and not a suicide. I believe the people who are obviously would be persons of interest would be that of Philip Halley and Donna McEwen. Now, they can always play, plausible deniability. They had nothing to do with it. But that's where I believe some dirty cops were involved, because remember, it said that Tommy was supposedly a DEA, an informant for the DEA regarding illegal drugs. And like I said, I don't believe it was just students that it had been implicated, but it might have been some dirty cops and other officials as well, both at the police department and at the school, important authority figures. So it's a big, interesting case. That's just my beliefs of what happened. I'll leave a link in the description. You can read from beginning to end of all the details surrounding it, but I basically kind of summarize some of the main points here. Just a lot of suspicious activity by some of by the law enforcement and school officials when Tommy's parents tried to ask for questions regarding what led up to this, and why wasn't anything done, uh, to make sure their son was safe, and what was the actual cause of death, and who was actually responsible. Like I said, I believe this was a murder. And again, I'll leave a link in the description below. You can check that out and read it for yourself. Let me know what you think. Like I said, this is a case that's always interested me. Like I said, it's reminiscent of the Keith Warren case. And I also said I made a video on that case. You can check that out. I'll leave a link to the description of that video as well. And you tell me what you think as well regarding there. So, got a little my hands full a little bit on that. But I just wanted to make this video because I like doing these things. It's always interesting to talk about these cases, especially since the segments are hard to find. Even if they're around, people have to have them unlisted so they don't get found and get copyright claim on them. I mean, I miss the old school Unsolved Mysteries with, I mean, see, it's so much that when they're gone so much, I almost forget his name. Robert Stack. My God, his name almost slipped my mind. See, that's how bad this is. That's how bad I want these episodes back. It's doing a disservice to him and to the victims and families that are still searching for answers for these cases. So with that said, as always, I'm Nam, and always use your noodle.